Scott, one of our favorite games of all time just had a massive tournament over the weekend with the 6th Invitational. It is Rainbow Six Siege. We've been there for what feels like a decade. I don't think it's been quite that long, but it has been around a long time, and we're in there all the time playing this game. We're there, dude. I'm buying the Battle Pass every season. Every new season is there. I got the operator on day 1, and I'm ready to go. And here we go. I'm just wrapping up the tail of this Battle Pass now. But the director says Siege can last forever. This is Grant Taylor Hale over at Insider Gaming. Dude, that's a bold statement to think of, right? In a group interview during a global esports event in Brazil, the creative director of Rainbow Six Siege, Alexander Caprices, spoke in length about the future of the game. He talked confidently about the ongoing success of Rainbow Six Siege, which has been Ubisoft's flagship multiplayer shooter for 9 years. Dude, I was close. Almost a decade.
It has been 9 years. Holy.
And it
feels like it's getting more successful each year that goes on.
Absolutely is. It absolutely is. And it's still dominating much of the market. It's seemingly become more popular over time as Ubisoft continues to pour updates and fresh content into the ecosystem. One of the best engines in the world. While talking on a panel at the 6th Invitational in Sao Paulo, Caprices touched on the rampant success of Rainbow Six Siege, which is older than almost every top-tier shooter on the market right now. Thanks to a PC gamer for the quote. Quote, I can confidently say that we have probably one of the best engines in the world when it comes to the live PvP shooters. The team is incredible, and we have a huge engine pipeline team that every single month incrementally improves the way that we can deliver content faster, more robust, more stable, hopefully as much as possible. Alexander has been working on Rainbow Six Siege for almost 6 years, so he has had the pleasure of seeing the game unfold most beautifully. Ubisoft has presented a stellar attitude when it comes to rolling out regular content updates and supporting a vibrant, diverse, and global community. As part of the interview, Alexander spoke briefly about the idea of a follow-up title, suggesting that it's not even needed, as you'll never make it exactly the same way as the first title. Quote, the idea of switching engines to something that can be off-the-shelf ready simply doesn't answer the needs for a really competitive and demanding game like Siege. I'm not going to name names, but you see games that did go through sequels and just completely drop the ball because, dude, there's a caller. Drop the ball because they have to remake every single thing they did in the first game. End quote. The wrap up in the segment, Alexander highlighted the Rainbow Six Siege, quote, is a game that can last forever with the people and the talent and the tools that they have today, end quote. Through my own, quote continues, through my own experience with Ubisoft employees, I can safely support that claim. There are intentions to keep Rainbow Six Siege alive for years to come. Following the next update, there will be 71 operators in Siege. There are desires to reach 100 before the game begins to hit a sunset phase. Whew. Scott, we got years ahead of us yet, buddy.
That's a huge amount of operators. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's amazing how I could probably rhyme them off. There's so many, but yet we use them. They're all still relevant. The game is so well balanced after 9 years. I like this really, really subtle, not so subtle call out of other games in the shooter space that have not done it well. Yeah, now Overwatch 2 is a bit of a bizarre situation because there's issues. The characters weren't balanced when it came to Overwatch 2. Haven't they been the same characters since Overwatch 1? How do you mess that up? But
sure.
To bring this into Rainbow Six Siege, there's so many little intricate interworkings between the characters. It's almost like you'd have to redo it like a fighting game and kind of change everybody if you were going to make one. But I've said for a couple of years now, if Siege is so good, where's Siege 2? But really, Siege is so good it does not require a 2, and that's better even.
I think I like that as a confirmation of, hey, we're not getting to Siege 2. We're just going to continue making the game. Hey, keep it going. Dude, I looked this morning. You ready? I'm 1,603 hours into Rainbow Six Siege.
Insane amount of time.
I've never sunk so much time into one game. And it's just over the 9 years. I keep coming back. Another season. I keep coming back. And I've had my moments too when I'm like, I'm out right now, man. I can't do this right now. I got to do something. I got to play something else. But at the end of the day, man, I come back, right? I keep coming back. There is not a shooter out there that is like this. Hands down. There is nothing that compares to what Siege has created over there with the team over at Ubisoft. It is fantastic, right? The idea that you can bust through 3 walls and pick somebody off is unfathomable, right? The strategies when you watch the pro leagues play. The pros are at a whole other level. Dude, I am at the bottom. I mean, hands down, I am no good at the game, but I absolutely adore the game, and I love to play it. I do get frustrated at moments, but that's just because I suck. So, either way, at the end of the day, though...
Or community issues. That's community issues. You'll never solve that as long as we're the ones playing the games.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure, right? Trolls are trolls at the end of the day. But it's nice, it's comforting to go, we're just going to keep making the game. Scott, do they sunset it after 100 operators? Or do you think it still continues?
Oh, I think it'll still continue. Much in the same way that Counter-Strike Go continued forever and ever and ever. Then again, that's another one that got sunsetted for a sequel, and I'm not quite sure it was the right choice. So I'm comforted as well to see that Rainbow Six is eternal. Rainbow Six Infinite, if you were.
Well, it's funny because we did see the CSGO sequel come out, dude, and it didn't take off. Like, people jumped on it because of the new thing, and they're like, nah.
Yeah.
Right? They went, nah, let's go back to the first one. Because it's better, is what they know, is what they... So do you... It's funny, because I've been talking to a couple people about PUBG, and on my side of things, right? On the other side, kind of behind the scenes, asking about a sequel. And they're like, why would they want to do that? The community's already there. It's already built. You put out a sequel, right? Referencing, once again, Overwatch 2, and the fumble and the flop that they've had to deal with trying to fix that game now. Why would you do that? What it really needs, honestly, is just an Unreal Engine 5 update. And then that'll bring that game to this whole other level. So that's all. And that is a massive undertaking for the amount of content that's in PUBG. Here with Siege, I'm going, I could really use a couple of graphical updates, right? Like when I aim down sights, I got my ADS and I aim down sights and I see the scope, it's blurry, right? And there's just a couple things. I'm like, the graphics could use a little bit of work to it. But the fact that, Scott, on day 1, Sledge is there. And on day 603 hours in, we're still using Sledge today. That is an incredible mark of balance that keeps this game going, keeps this game growing, and it goes to a whole competitive scene as well. Dude, it is phenomenal to think that Siege, after 9 years, still exists at all, right? Remember when they first announced Siege? It was Rainbow Six Patriots.
Oh. Well,
right?
There's a memory from
it wasn't even Siege, dude. And then they canceled Patriots and they gave us Siege. And then year 1 comes out, everybody jumps on it and goes, okay, now what? Like, light on content, right? It was definitely one of those things. Came out very, very light on content. And now look at the content. Maps are coming out on a more consistent basis, whether you like the maps or not. Lair is not my favorite map of the moment, right? And then the change to consulate, I'm getting more and more comfortable with it, and I'm still not really kind of digging it. At the end of the day, there's a couple things where you're just like, I don't want this map, right? But
see, that's the little tweaks and changes, though, that would be much more detrimental and an issue if you were to go to a whole sequel of a game.
Yeah.
Like these maps, if you had to make complete brand new maps, and then we have the Halo issue where I'm going, well, where's Villa? Where's House? And all these custom favorite maps that have been accumulated over the years.
Right.
Yeah, Blood Gulch for Halo, but... It's an interesting point, though. What would have to change? What would they have to be able to offer in the video game space, hardware or otherwise, to make Siege 2 a good idea? And I'm not sure I have an answer. There really isn't much that you could do at this point. Making the game bigger and larger doesn't really help anybody. Larger maps, the same thing. If you had extra players, it's not the same game. So there really isn't a whole lot you can do to it, other than maybe add a storyline. Or if Rainbow Six Extraction had been part of Rainbow Six Siege.
That was a misstep.
I could see that. That was, but I would hate to see Rainbow Six Siege shuttered in case in favor of that. But just additions instead of actually changing the whole game.
Well, it's funny because over the years they have built up this story, right? And we're now
there
getting
is a story.
Deimos, which is the villain within the story. He's now coming to the game in the next season. Here we go. Right, and then what he brings to the table is quite unique, I think, as well. The ability to constantly ping the opponents, and then dude, the 2-shot with the handgun is like incredible. Just 2 shots and you're done. Like, that is it. It is powerful. I saw that and went, man, that looks like it's gonna get banned. Like, Deimos looks like he's gonna get banned often because people aren't gonna want to deal with him. And I get it, but we'll see how it changes the meta of the game, right? And I think that's the coolest part. is that always over at Siege and a lot of online games, right, games of service models, the meta constantly ebbs and flows and it changes, right? And then Ubisoft is there on the fly to fix this and fix that and kind of jump you in for 2 weeks without being able to ban demos, and they just deal with them and figure it out. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then they come in and go, okay, now we're going to do this. We're going to buff this. We're going to nerf that and do all these kind of things, right? To make sure that the game is balanced. Like we talked about, right? Siege, when we played Sledge on day 1, and now 603 hours in later, Sledge is still a viable operator. Absolutely remarkable.
Oh, it shows that Ubisoft can actually do a games of service properly. And when you get a games of service like this, you don't need a sequel. Think of League of Legends. I don't think we'll ever see a League of Legends 2.
No, you're probably right, Scott. I think you're absolutely right. Why would you take one of the probably the biggest money makers they have right now and mess that up?